When you feel like the world is against you, remember that your perception creates your reality. The mind is a powerful tool that shapes how we experience life's challenges. By understanding that external events hold only the power we give them, we can begin to reclaim control over our emotional responses and build resilience against life's inevitable difficulties. Our thoughts are not mere reflections of reality, but active creators of our experience. Carl Jung understood this profound truth, that we navigate life not as it objectively exists, but through the lens of our perceptions and interpretations. This insight opens the door to personal transformation, as we realize that changing our perspective can fundamentally change our lived experience. The stories we tell ourselves about our pain often cause more suffering than the original wound. By recognizing that we have the ability to rewrite these narratives, we can begin the journey toward emotional freedom. This doesn't mean denying hurt, but rather understanding that our interpretation of events determines their lasting impact on our psyche. The concept of psychological projection reveals how we often attribute our own unconscious thoughts and feelings to others. When we feel threatened by the world, we may be projecting our inner conflicts outward. By recognizing this process, we can begin to see that what appears as external hostility may actually be a mirror reflecting our unresolved inner tensions. This understanding doesn't diminish the reality of genuine challenges, but it offers a new perspective on how to approach them. By looking inward when we feel attacked, we might discover that part of our reaction stems from our own psychological material. This awareness creates space between stimulus and response, allowing us to respond with greater wisdom rather than reacting from conditioned patterns. Jung emphasized that true security comes not from controlling external circumstances, but from developing a robust inner life. As we integrate previously disowned aspects of ourselves, we become less vulnerable to external triggers. The path to freedom from hurt lies in accepting and embracing the totality of who we are, including those aspects we might prefer to hide or deny. The journey toward psychological wholeness involves confronting our shadow, those parts of ourselves we've rejected or repressed. When we fear judgment from others, we're often experiencing the harsh judgment we direct toward ourselves. By bringing compassion to these disowned aspects, we diminish their power to cause suffering when reflected back to us through interactions with others. This inner work is challenging but immensely rewarding. As we develop greater self-awareness, we naturally become less reactive to criticism or rejection. What once felt like devastating personal attacks gradually loses its sting as we recognize that others' opinions reflect their reality, not our worth or value as human beings. The practice of mindful awareness allows us to observe our thoughts without becoming consumed by them. By creating distance between ourselves and our automatic reactions, we develop the capacity to choose our responses rather than being driven by unconscious patterns. This mindful space represents the freedom that Jung described, the ability to respond rather than react. Our relationships with others often reflect our relationship with ourselves. When we harbor self-criticism or unresolved shame, we become hypersensitive to perceived slights from others. By cultivating self-acceptance and compassion, we naturally develop greater resilience in our interactions with the world, finding that what once seemed like deliberate hurt now appears as simple misunderstanding. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but through consistent practice and awareness. Each time we pause before reacting defensively, we strengthen our capacity for conscious response. Like building any skill, emotional resilience grows through repeated efforts to observe our automatic reactions without immediately acting on them. The ultimate goal isn't to become impervious to hurt, but to develop the internal resources to process pain without becoming defined by it. When we understand that our reactions are choices rather than inevitabilities, we reclaim our power from external circumstances and people who previously seemed to control our emotional state. True freedom comes from recognizing that while we cannot control what happens to us, we always retain the power to determine what meaning we assign to events. By developing this inner sovereignty, we gradually find that the world becomes less threatening, not because it has changed, but because we have transformed our relationship to it. This perspective doesn't blame victims of genuine harm, but rather offers a path forward from suffering. By focusing on what we can control, our interpretations and responses, we avoid the trap of victim consciousness that keeps us locked in cycles of pain and resentment. This represents the essence of Jung's teaching about psychological freedom. Remember that this journey is uniquely yours, and the insights we've explored represent an invitation to deeper self-understanding. By applying these principles consistently in your daily life, you may discover that the world gradually transforms from a source of threat to a field of opportunity for growth and self-discovery. If you found value in these reflections, please consider subscribing to our channel for more content exploring the depths of human psychology and the wisdom of thinkers like Carl Jung.